So we begin with our smart home using IoT. We all heard about the home. Okay. Now, what is there for a home to be smart? Okay. And you need not answer me. Every one of us having a home or whatever that. Okay. Now, can you list the domestic tasks within quote domestic tasks? Okay. Maybe to initiate a kind of self discussion. Okay, you just get up in the morning. If you are living in your own house, you need to switch on the water motor. Okay, you need to read the newspaper, and you need to collect the milk packets and things like that. Then meantime, you also wait for the maid to enter your home, and meantime you will also be collecting clothes for washing, and also looking at what is going to be the menu today, and like that. So many things are there. And note that what has happened today, it is unlikely that they will happen tomorrow. Or in other words, once you decide a particular pattern, okay, for a day, it is unlikely that the pattern can be repeated later. Okay, and that being the thing, because domestic tasks are inherently complex in nature. Okay, now we are looking at ways to see that how best we can make use of IoT in the domain called smart home. Okay, so we just this is the outline that is given. So can we have the next one? So let us look at the progression towards the intelligent home. So we all know what is a home, intelligent or smart home. Okay. Now we are now living in the era of 21st century, and in fact, for several decades, robots have been widely used, but they have been used mostly in the industrial sector. Right? These days, we also would like to explore the possibility of using robots in our day-to-day life. Okay, and also, what is the meaning of automation? Why people talk about automation? You and I are busy with so many things. Often we say that if only somebody can do this, I would have done that better. Something like that. Okay. If only somebody, attends my banking duties, I could focus on something else. Okay. So the need for automation, everybody knows. Okay. And basically, we would like to, focus something more priority items. So we look for as many places as possible automation. Okay, so that's why we say that automation has successfully conquered industry and working environments. Then leisure time, domestic tasks, and household management have remained untouched. Please look at the third bullet: leisure time, domestic tasks, and household management. As I already mentioned that both the domestic task and household management may not be the same throughout the month, may not be the same throughout the year. Okay, how you have managed your household activities today may not be the same next time. Okay, so they are big, inherently complex domains. Next, yeah. So, adoption of electrical domestic appliances follow the process of commoditization. New appliances expensive, unreliable, and bought by wealthy. Now, just look at this quote from the book written by Lynn Hamill, titled "Introduction of New Technology into the Household," and published by Digital World Research Center, University of Surrey, UK, way back in 2000. So nearly 2 decades have gone, and 2 decades back, the author has quoted. Okay, I repeat, the richer a person is, the more he is willing to pay for the less benefit. Now, please look at the adjectives here. Richer a person. So, you all know who is a richer person. And next is the more he is willing to pay. Okay, so it means he has the affordability to pay more. And finally, the third adjective, less benefit. Please note the word less benefit, not the adjective less benefit. Okay. Therefore, it is to be expected that the rich will be the early adopters of new technology. New technology can be used to buy more free time. Again, look at the last line of this quote. Okay. New technology can be used to buy more free time. Often we all know that many things you can buy from the market, but except the time. Okay, but here is the thing in mind is that if only I have better technology, meaning that I could focus on something else, meaning that I could get more free time. Okay, so imagine few years back, before the introduction of iPhone. Okay, how we were doing things. After the introduction of iPhone, Apple iPhone, how it has changed. In a similar way, before the smartphone, how we were attending to activities. Now, with the affordable smartphone technology, how we are attending to our activities. In fact, many things are given to the device, meaning that the new technology has helped you to buy more free time for pursuing some other more priority items. Okay, that's the meaning of this one. Okay. Next. So we continue the progression towards the intelligent home. Technological improvements, reductions in the cost of manufacture and the competition all help to reduce the cost. Once the market for the rich has been saturated, profit margins will be cut or cheaper products will be produced for the mass market. It is often the case that the companies come up with a few units of the devices they make, and their focus is on the well-to-do people, as we mentioned, that they are willing to pay the money you quote, something like that. So companies try these specialized devices or products with the well-to-do people, and once they know that it is well received, etc., and also such kind of thing, they use it to look for further improvements in the product, and once they receive what is called the desired profit margin, then they look for what is called the mass production of the same device. Okay. Alternatively, we are now living in an era of competition. Then somebody else will also come up with a product similar to that with a affordable cost. Okay. Now look at this electric machine. This was introduced by the Hurley company way back in 1907, and early models were unreliable and expensive, easy to sell as they eliminated or replaced the household chorus. Okay, now we slowly get into the domestic task. So first and foremost is the washing clothes. Okay, now the washing machine that was introduced found to eliminate or found to replace the maid used for washing clothes. Then price of automated washing machines finally dropped in the 60s, helped by the introduction of Seawork timers. Next. Then apart from that, introduction of electrical domestic appliances did not reduce labor, but only drudgery. Okay. So you all know that you have the bread toaster, you have the induction stove, etc., etc. Electric domestic appliances did not reduce the labor, but it adds to more issues. The 1950s, women could complete all the housework that a housewife and several servants would have completed a decade before. Vision of a house tomorrow, luxurious 21st century living where housewives are finally relieved of their domestic duties. Then vision of fully automated home and multifunctional domestic robot has largely remained untouched. Please look at the fourth bullet. Vision of fully automated home and multifunctional domestic robot has largely remained untouched. So, meaning that a lot of scope is there. Okay, meaning that something more could be done immediately. Next. Then also thanks to affordable communication technology, we are now all enjoying the broadband communication technology. So 50% of people in European households using broadband, and way back in 2005, now it should be close to 90% and also. And Electrolux has been a pioneer in household appliances, and this is the thing, what is called the screen fridge. Household members communicate via video mail or email. Users can surf the web, food management, recipes, how to handle foods, food storage, then TV, radio, and connections for surveillance camera, digital cookbook. Okay. So these are the things the Electrolux has designed and called it, all put together, called it the screen fridge. Okay. Through screen, you can interact, you can find out what are all there, what more to be supplemented, how to go about, which one to take in the morning, which one to take in the afternoon, and which item, how much quantity, and so on and so forth. And of course, on top of that, you also have what is called the digital cookbook. Next. Then LG's internet washing machine combines white goods with information and communications in response to the increasing popularity of home network products. Download washing cycles from the Turbodrum website. Next. Now, in fact, if you look at from yesterday's thing, we mentioned about the convergence. Now, what's the role of convergence? In information technology, convergence is a term for the combining of personal computers, telecommunications, and televisions into a user experience that is accessible to everyone. Okay? That's the meaning of convergence. And according to Steve Case, American online time warner, every decade has a word that defines it. In the 80s, it was the personal computer. In the 90s, it was the internet. As we mentioned yesterday, the early 90s saw the introduction of internet in common persons. Okay. Now, this decade, the key word is convergence. So, we are now living in a decade which is full of convergence. Next. General public need to be convinced of benefits of buying multifunctional devices. That's a very, very important thing. Now look at the observation of Madhu Menon, an internet consultant. Okay, it's from her mouth. Talking with your family through the refrigerator, That just sounds creepy. I suppose people will have to stop using the fridge while talking to their family. People will have to enter information about food and expiry dates manually. Isn't technology supposed to make our lives easier? Now just look at what are the expectations, okay? There some mechanism is needed to enter information about food, and for each food, any special instructions such as expiry dates or usage briefing, and is there any way to make the life easier? So this is the observation of an internet consultant. Okay. Then second, compromise in design. Designers need to successfully integrate two or more devices with restricted dimensions at a reasonable price. And it means that jack of all trades, master of one, or master of none. Next. So, uniform view that the home will be intelligent, connected, and wireless, although the way this will be achieved and how the home will be networked differs drastically. In fact, it varies from service provider to another service provider, one service provider to another service provider. It also varies from one user to another user and things like that. So, the television centric used for, as we all know that the television is primarily meant for entertainment, email, online shopping, and as the main interface. Regarded as a communal device, crashes over usage, etc. And often it is found to be difficult to upgrade. So we all know that the television we buy, we have it in mind that next 10 years I will not replace it. Next 5 years I will not replace and things like that. But note that around us a lot of developments are taking place. Okay. So some development, new technology in audio system, new technology in the other devices, and so on and so forth. So with the television thing, it becomes difficult to periodically update it, because we all have the mindset that television means it is purchased and for next 5 years or next 10 years we will not replace it. Then what is the PC-centric issues? Problems of stability, consumer level PCs prone to crashing, potentially bringing down the entire network. Next. Now, post-PC world, personal computing moving from the PC into a range of devices. These days, industries as well as users, experts talk about what are called wearable PCs. Then smart computing, single board interfaces will use a PC processor power, reducing size and cost. Change in interface from Windows icons, mouse, and pull-down menus to speech and eventually physical gestures. In fact, slowly, steadily, the experts started using gestures to instruct the devices. If, according to HP Lab, if technology is to be more accepted in the home, it must change to better suit this environment. If technology is to be more accepted in the home, it must change to better suit this environment. A number of researchers have argued that this change will take the form of what is called the post-PC world. Next. Manufacturers need to convince consumers to embrace the intelligent home. We are yet to go into details of what is an intelligent home, but then skeptics claim manufacturers have lost touch with the consumer's need, and appliance design is being driven by what is technologically possible. The resulting products are complicated to use and intimidate consumers who don't understand their function. Okay? In fact, here is the answer for why there is a slow movement towards intelligent home, because there seems to be a very wide gap between the manufacturers and the users. The users are the consumers, okay, and it's becoming increasingly difficult to educate each potential consumers in a short span of time. And as you all know that there is a very famous saying, a word of mouth catches like forest fire. Okay, if some device got not so good feedback, then it is extremely difficult for the manufacturers to convince the consumers. Okay. So as a result, the gap between manufacturers thought that they have done a wonderful product design, etc., but when it comes to consumers' hand, it is not that in a good demand. Okay, so manufacturers struggle to convince consumers to explain the new features of the devices they have designed and deployed. Next. Then yet another quote from Donald Norman, and the quote is from the book called The Design of Everyday Things. Technology offers the potential to make life easier and more enjoyable. Each new technology provides increased benefits. At the same time, added complexities arise to increase our difficulty and frustration. Now, just a simple, recollection of every one of us, that prior to smartphone, we were also doing the banking transactions, etc., etc. Only thing, we had to go in person to bank and things like that. Okay. Now with the smartphone and so many other things, one need not visit visit the bank. Okay, one need not visit other places. You can do many things with the help of your smart device. But then the problem is that it also brings in new issues related to what about my personal detail? What about the security of my privacy and the security of my activities? Okay, so it goes without saying that more the simplified, the greater the risks are. Okay, and every one of us is here in mind. Okay, more automation, more within quote intelligence. There is more risk also. Again, the quote from Ian Pearson, BT, this quote: human beings are visually oriented, hands-on and curious by nature. We may want to keep tangible interfaces to the real world and retain at least the impression that we know what is going on. Unquote. Next. The house of the future has engineered confines, presuming a digital lifestyle. By the way, what's a digital lifestyle? We all know what's a lifestyle. Okay? What is a digital lifestyle? Meaning that many of these activities will be handled by your digital devices or smart devices. With the notable exception of the television, which is profoundly homegrown, most new domestic technologies embody notions of efficiency designed to deliver better time and resource management. So this is the observation by Intel Corporation. And then next is the kitchen is a social hub with a distinct cultural history that is to be understood before imposing technology on its inhabitants. Okay. Now this is where the whole complexity lies. Okay. Unlike designing and producing, a smart washing machine, unlike designing and producing smart TV, etc. When it comes to kitchen, the companies find it extremely difficult to have a product related to kitchen, because the kitchen is the social hub, and you all know that kitchen is the place where uh, which is used for preparing food for right from children to elders and a range of other guests also. And the way you prepare breakfast may not be the same as the way other home prepares the breakfast. Okay, that's why it is saying that with a distinct cultural history that is to be understood before imposing technology on its inhabitants. Okay. So this is the inherent complexity of what is called making a kitchen as a smart kitchen, because whatever you design, it is only applicable to certain households. May not be, distributed, may not be shared. So I repeat, the kitchen is a social hub with a distinct cultural history that is to be understood before imposing technology on its inhabitants. Next. So the development of an intelligent home is not restricted to a connected, automated domestic environment. Okay. Now, just look at the right side, the Philips ambient project. Okay. The ambient intelligence as being an exciting new paradigm in information technology, in which people are empowered through a digital environment that's aware of their presence and context and is sensitive, adaptive, and responsive to their needs, habits, gestures, and emotions, merging the concepts of ubiquitous computing and the social interfaces to improve the quality of life. So this has been the endeavor of Philips, which is which is a pioneer in many household appliances. Next. The project aims to create a future home resembling the house of the past and eradicating all the black boxes that feature in our homes today. So examples: bathroom mirror, okay, reflects your image, the news or the weather, nebula, and an interactive projector determined by movement. Then another audio system triggers a sound by humming the tune. Just see the kind of vision people have when it comes to designing intelligent home. The moment I do a humming the tune, your audio system will play the complete song like that. These are something sample. Next. So according to Philips, technology in our homes will evolve to the point that if you don't have to work to experience, rather it will understand us and reach to our needs, making our lives easier. In a true ambient intelligence environment, all electronic features and functions are integrated into people's backgrounds. Or in other words, the focus is more towards wherever possible, to a great extent, automate the requirements. Okay, or in other words, try to minimize the interaction with the users, capture the users' requirements, and try to have devices that will fully satisfy the user's requirements. It should not be that time to time you interact with the user and asking, is it okay? Can I improve this? Can I do this for a longer time? Nothing of that sort. Okay. So all these things are integrated into the people's backgrounds. Okay. Understand what the consumers need, what is their preference, and things like that. What are their priorities, and so on. Next, yeah, this is a project by Georgia Tech, okay, called Aware Home. The Aware Home venture is concerned with addressing the fundamental, technical, design, and the social challenges of the creation of a home environment that is aware of its occupants and their activities. The home is a network of sensors and computers monitoring the movements and actions of the household members. It contains a vast array of gadgets designed to enhance the quality of life, with a special emphasis on the elderly. Next. So, example of contents: digital family portrait. Okay, you just see it on the right side. Reconnects the geographically distant extended family members. Designed to resemble a portrait. The border changes daily, reflecting the person's life, providing peace of mind for family members, and so on and so forth. And you also have what is called a gesture pendant, a necklace with a small camera inside that allows the user to control devices within their environment through gestures. Say, for instance, you are wearing a pendant, and the pendant is embedded with a small camera, and you are into a kind of auditorium, or you are into a kind of a meeting place. Okay, you wish to tell the other participants to now remain calm, which you can do through gestures. Okay. So what I am cooking, vision sensors capture information and displays them as visual cues. Next. It is not enough just to solve the problems in the abstract. To really understand the problems and the challenges of ubiquitous computing. Okay. Yesterday we talked about the ubiquitous word. Okay. Now, ubiquitous computing means that you don't know where the systems are there, you don't know what are the underlying softwares, you don't know what are the underlying middleware, but you are able to get certain things with the help of these computers. Okay. Or in other words, as I mentioned yesterday, that you don't know, you have not seen them, but you feel it. Okay. So that's called the ubiquitous computing. Some authors call it pervasive computing. So you have to build all the actual environments you have to take and apply to the body, that is namely the home. Next. So what are these domestic robots? And you all know that the purpose of robot is meant to simplify many of our activities. Okay, is meant to be assistive in our activities and so on and so forth. So here is the one robot which is meant for disabled, that is providing assistance for the disabled. Then you have another thing called Sony's Aibo, that is in the context of entertainment, that can learn through experience as well as read emails and take photos with its onboard camera. Then household maintenance, okay, Dyson DC06 still on home trial below. Then Electrolux, the company's Trilo Boy below. Again, iRobo, Roomba below, and robotics, sign next. Next. So what are the challenges? Okay. As we already mentioned, the household environment is a complex mass of wires within bracket resolved by wireless network thanks to affordable and cost-effective communication technology. Okay, and it is quickly resolved by wireless network, confined spaces and uneven flows, uncontrolled environment with humans interacting in this space, a safe, powerful, portable power supply is needed. Robots with artificial intelligence or other behavioral complexities still have technical difficulties. Yet another challenge is economic concerns, means that design, functionality and materials can be compromised. Next. So let's look at the market trends and outlook for smart home. So I think more and more tend to accept that we are living in a smart world, okay? Because many of the activities, our day-to-day activities are enabled by smart devices, and more people are moving towards the smart. What is it? Moving towards smart way of living. So we all heard about driving smart cars. So a smart car is meant to simplify many of the driver's requirements. Okay, and it's enough that you just program it before at the start of your drive. Okay, many things are handled by the smart cars with the help of the advanced devices, gadgets that are now available at affordable cost. Okay. So right from distance and for each place, what all you want to do, you can also fix some time quantum. Like I want to spend a half an hour in a cafe, I want to spend 1 hour in a supermarket and things like that. All these things can be programmed, okay, and the smart car will take care of all these requirements. So yesterday we talked of smartphone. Basically, it's a hub of sensors. Okay, so and you all know that there are few apps. In fact, many are downloaded. Okay, the moment you download, okay, you also take the risk of sharing some of your personal details. Okay, so as we already mentioned, nothing is free in this world. Okay, when you see that the download is completely free, it means that the download vendor will extract some details from you without your knowledge. Okay, and at the end of all these things, you will find one small box that I accept the terms and conditions mentioned above. Believe me, many of us in a variety of scenarios may not read each and every line of the instructions. Okay? And because we are in a hurry to download. Okay? So we just put a tick mark and the vendor has got your acceptance. Okay? Indirectly, that vendor will extract some personal details from you for some possible commercial benefits. So you have the smart computer. Next, you have the smart coffee making machine. Okay, it's all programmed. Okay, you decide what should be the content of coffee, what should be the content of how much the milk should be, how long it is to be brewed in case you are using the coffee beans. Okay, to extract the coffee decoction. Okay, you can program it and you can also indicate how long it is to be heated, whether the sugar is normal or half sugar or whatever that, all these things can be briefed to this smart coffee machine. Next. And also the lighting these days again, okay, smart lights, okay, they decide how much in which area for how long it is to be on. Next. And getting a smart hairbrush, again to simplify many of our requirements, okay, related to hair grooming. Next. Okay. So after all these things, now just look at what is there here. And it says that the quote is, there is one thing in our life that is still not the smart. Or in other words, if only I wish I have somebody or some system that collects the clothes to be washed, okay, and after washing, okay, the dried cloths are ironed and things like that, okay. So there is no till today, okay, the smart washing machines are not immediately available for affordable cost. Next. And this is our home. We call it a smart home. Next. Currently, we spend about 90% of our time indoors in places that are not smart. So, we spend a lot of time on manual controls, manual processes, and with a number of inefficient systems. Okay. So here lies the opportunity for IoT specialists, how best to eliminate the manual controls, how effectively eliminate the manual processes, and make the systems efficient. Next. Next. So these are some of the gadgets used for a smart home. Next. Next. So we all know that our homes don't have a brain, but yet we want homes to have a human intelligence. Okay, like we do, individuals. We know how to respond to reactions. We know how to engage our relatives, or we know how to engage certain ourselves with certain activities and things like that. So, meaning that the smart home should consider all these things. Next. Think of your home as a tech-empowered oasis. Next. Now just look at this one, okay? So you have what is called the smart air conditioner, you have smart socket, all with an adjective of smart fridge, smart microwave, smart dishwasher, smart oven, smart kettle, smart socket, smart TV, smart electric hub, and so on and so forth. All these things are there to possibly, simplify our day-to-day activities and possibly bring some benefit to us in terms of time and other things. Okay. So after performing certain activities, you need to be served a cup of coffee. Okay. After some time, you expect that your clothes are to be collected and taken to washing machine, and the fridge you use it during preparation of food, Okay, and the fridge, you also use it for storing some dishes which are left over and things like that. Next. So very soon our homes will turn autonomous, and the experts have come up with six levels of autonomous. The level 0, no autonomous features. That is, manually I need to open the door, manually I need to place chairs, manually I need to start cooking, manually I need to take care of other activities, our day-to-day activities. Now, the experts have prescribed a level 1 if one can handle one task at a time, like temperature adjustment. Okay, so level 1 means that you handle one task at a time. Level 2, it is more towards connected, at least two autonomous functions such as light, temperature, and speaker. Then level 3, which is also called location aware. Okay, so here to handle dynamic tasks but might still need intervention. Level 4, it is inherently semi-autonomous. Maybe as and when required, you will interact. Okay, otherwise many things are automated, many activities are automated. So autonomous in certain environments such as health, music, gardening, food, etc. etc. Then fifth and sixth and final level is level 5, fully autonomous, meaning that it operates safely on its own without any human presence. Okay. Next. Next. What's the smart home market? Next. So what's the smart home market? Okay. The experts have predicted that the forecast for global smart home market revenue from 2016 to 2022 in US dollars in terms of $1 billion. So yesterday we mentioned, I repeat again, 1 billion is 1 followed by 9 zeros. $1 is equivalent to roughly about 74 rupees. So the market is steadily growing, and the 2020 the forecast was $40 billion. It might be less also due to pandemic, and the projection for 21 is $46 billion, and the projection for 22 is about $53 billion. Okay, among the countries where the smart home revenue forecast, okay, though for selected countries, so US remains the top country, and followed by that China, then you have Germany, UK, Japan, Korea, and France about $1,000 million. But below that, India, Netherlands, Italy, Sweden, Spain, Denmark, and all will have few hundred million dollars. Okay, that's the forecast for a smart home market. Next. Next. So again, the study conducted by experts found that users by gender, 57.1%, then 42.3% is another gender. Then user by age group, about if you just look at this one, the people in the age of 25 to 34 have recorded as high as 35% usage of a smartphone. Then users by income, again double digit, triple digit, and so on. Okay, that's about 44% of really well-to-do people will be the users of a smartphone. Next. Next. So you have the main use cases of the smartphone. One is the control and the connectivity. You have the Fibero systems into this activity. Then comfort and the lighting. Comfy Light is the company behind this one. Then security, again another company behind this activity. Then home entertainment, Sonos is behind that. Then energy management, okay, a company by name Ecobee. Then Robo Smart Appliances. Next. So what are the benefits of a smart home? Benefits expected from connected / smart home appliances by US consumers. Again, this survey was done in 2017. The details are there in the references. Okay. So as high as 59% say that it makes everyday life more convenient. Okay, and as much as 50% have recorded that it's going to be energy savings with the smart home thing. Then about 24% have registered that they do not expect any benefits, and protection against fire, damages and flooding about 23%. Protection against burglary about 21%. Please note that these kind of things, even though 5 items are given, but it is likely that these 5 are interrelated with one another. Okay, when somebody says that it makes my life more convenient, it also includes protection against burglary. It also includes protection against fire, damages, flooding. Okay. Next. So household penetration exceeding 20%. Household penetration in the global smart home market in percent worldwide. Okay. Then next, we just look at this one. Some of these. So, what's the technology? Next. So, what is the technology adoption life cycle? So, early majority is about 34%, late majority is about 40%, and the experts have predicted that it's something like a bell-shaped curve, or the statistician call it a normal curve, or the data is normally distributed, meaning that innovation or mostly techies tried, they are about 2.5%. Early adopters, the moment a new product is launched, then you have early adopters and they account for 13.5%. Then slowly, steadily, the pragmatists, okay, and they account for 34%. And the conservatives, again, they account for 34%. And you also have what is called the critics or skeptics, okay, they account for 16%. Next. So this diagram just collage of smart home appliances, devices, and so on and so forth. Next. So this diagram shows the connected device ownership, connected device ownership per person in the household, as we have already seen in the survey conducted by experts. By 2020, you will find that on an average, a person will have about 6.5. There is nothing like 6.5, either 6 or 7 devices. Next, owned by individual. Next. So, connected devices consume massive data. Okay, the aggregate amount of data received by all Wi-Fi households in the US in billion gigabytes. Okay, yesterday we talked of a gigabyte. 1 gigabyte is 1024 megabyte, and the 1024 gigabyte is 1 terabyte, and things like that. Okay. Next. So Wi-Fi enables a smartphone growth. Okay, unit shipment of Wi-Fi enabled smart home devices worldwide from 2016 to 2020 in terms of millions of units. Okay, so if you just look at the year passed by 2020, okay, it's about 220 million units in major appliances and about 70 million units safety related and security, and about 30 million units related to home automation. Next. So 1 in 3 homes is not satisfied with their Wi-Fi. Close to 70% speed or performance, close to 30% range or coverage, close to 15% unresponsive customer support. Okay. So this is the reason why they are not satisfied. So it is observed that 1 in 3 homes is not satisfied with their Wi-Fi facility. Smart home enhances our life, delivers safety and savings, and drives the need for better coverage. Next. So we all know that even though the builders promise that you will have 1,000 2 BHK, once the 2-bedroom flats are sold and the owners, to prospective owners, you will find that every 2 BHK, it is unlikely that the 2 BHK will be more or less same. In fact, you will find as much variations as possible. Okay. So when you enter the whole living room consists of a sofa set and things like that. In some other place, you may not see that the sofa set is present there, and things like that. So you will find lot of variations among the similar products. Okay. That's what it says. Every home is unique, okay, like a snowflake. Next. So it also tells us that how complex it is to do something to do with the smart home. These are certain devices. Next. So let us look at the purchasing factors. Smart home voice assistants, most important purchasing factors in the survey conducted in 2017. Okay, the price is 30%. Other than that, the compatibility with other devices you already own, 14%. Accuracy of devices, the voice recognition is 14%, and so on and so forth. Next. So, smart home devices are slowly replacing the smartphone. To what degree? Listening to music, add an item as much as 58%. Then short news bulletin and so on. Make a purchase about 37%. Okay. Then order food again 36% and so on and so forth. So you can just see the moment you have the appropriate smart home devices, they will slowly take over the activities performed by smartphone. Next, meaning that smartphone could be used for many other activities. Okay. So users smartphone spend in next 12 months. So this is the again survey conducted by consultancies. Over 42% of households are planning to spend $500 or more in the next 12 months for their smartphones. Okay, so you can just see the trend goes on increasing, and if you look at the what you call the range 251 to $500 thing. Okay, so about 28% of people are willing to spend money for smart homes. Okay. Next, growth across all smart home categories. One is the smart TV, then about 10%, home monitoring and security, then smart speakers, then you have smart lighting arrangements, smart thermostat, and others. So this red one indicates the projection for 2022. Okay. Next. Voice assistants deliver breakthrough use case. You have Google Home, you have Harman Kardon Invoke, you have Echo B4 and Smart Light Switch, you have Amazon Echo Show, you have Apple HomePod, then NVIDIA Spot. So, age of touch as the primary user interface is giving way to a new age of voice and digital assistance. Okay. So, thanks to the advancement in touch screen technology, okay, so it's going to be a major user interface, okay, to a new age of voice and digital assistance. Okay. Next. So this is the projection for smart speakers households are several times more likely to also own. So next. So you'll be wondering, okay, why people have not talked about artificial intelligence. In fact, it's already there by leading companies like Amazon, etc. Already, deployed many AI models in designing the Alexa speaker, a very popular device and widely used by large number of people. Next. So we are close to connecting all devices. Okay, and the days are not far away. Smart doorbell market revenue worldwide in 2019 and 2024. You can just see manifold increase in the smart doorbell. Then smart speaker also you will see in 5 years time. It is seeing about 6 times of revenue. Next. So we are already into our home as a tech-empowered oasis. In fact, more and more requirements are there, and the specialists are working on these requirements. And very soon we will have, fully, mostly technology-enabled houses. Okay. Next. So this is some slide where the elder senior citizens in certain advanced countries, particularly UK, Okay, the survey says that about 95% senior citizens living independently, and they are all living in their own home for as long as possible, and about 90% financially independent. Then about 88% mentally active, and just to uh, tell their spouses that about 63% tell the spouses that they are safe, and about 56% say that they are socially active, and so on and so forth. Next. Now, what about the future? If many things are simplified, many things are automated, etc., etc. Now, what is it we look at the future requirements? Next. So, the experts have identified 6 major smart home trends to look out for. One is the consumer involvement from the get-go. Then next is subscriptions and replenishments. Then third one, a mobile lifestyle. Then the fourth trend is the power of voice. Then fifth trend is housewares are becoming connected. Then sixth and final trend is a safer smart home. Next. So hundreds of devices in our homes. One is the Curie, then Lakehound, Hub Robo, non-moving robo, airport, smart tech robo, Optech links. Next. So the robo works, you rest. Okay? Meaning that if maybe you probably recollect it, somewhere we mentioned that the well-to-do people are willing to spend any amount of money in new technology for the simple reason that they will buy time. Okay. In a similar way, once the robot performs certain activities which you have been doing it, okay, so meaning that you will spend that time for some other activities. Okay, it's not that once the robot is doing what you are doing earlier, you will keep quiet. No, you will be focusing on something else. Okay. And this is the evolution of things in the cleaning domain. It all started with the broomstick, etc., etc. Next. Next. So thanks to all modern technology, your home will recognize you only through your registered fingerprints, through your registered facial identification, and so on and so forth. Okay. So the your home doesn't know who you are. Okay. Only when these details are compared and found valid, only then you have access to your home. Next. So there is no indoor global positioning system. Next. So this is the indoor positioning grows roughly 50% year after year. Next. So multiple technology trends driving the IPS adoption. So we live indoors. People spend about 80 to 90% of their time indoors. Then IPS grows fast. Then maps and so on. Then you have the rise of the beacon. Okay. Then you have targeted mobile ads and so on. Next. So number of indoor positioning patterns and players. Okay. So the data given here is up to 2017. Okay. So the number of patterns gradually increasing. Next. So positioning empowers all smart home segments. Okay. So there are about 7 segments. One is in the case of navigation, another one mapping, yet another thing analytics, and geofencing, then wayfinding, then automation, then tracking. Next. Next. So value of indoor positioning related to the cost. The implementation cost value for precise IPS, indoor positioning system, and for Wi-Fi the cost is very low. Next. So business to consumer, use case 1, geofencing. Mark a location and push alert when something moves fast. Next. Then device tracking, track location of devices relative to houses and the environment, such as purse, such as keys and things like that. Next. Program notifications to respond to certain tasks and updates depending on location. Beacons can trigger the lighting change as elements move around. Can also use geofencing, like child returning home late. Inside house can use notifications from phone program to lights. Outside house can allow external controllers to connect by lights. Smart lighting that changes color based on notification. Next. So how home smart and safety IoT devices will protect your home. So we just look at this one. Next. So you just see that there are several products that are available. One is by Orange MyPlug 2, then Philips Hue, then Nest Protect, then Keywatch, then MyFox Vision, etc. etc. There are many ways one can ensure that the smart home is safe and secure. Next. So I need not go into details of these things. Okay, what is smart home security? Just to say that basically you have a system that keeps your home safe with the smart devices and the smart applications when you are at home and when you are not at home. Okay, next. So how it works? You have a device in hand, and the inside home you have several other devices, and these devices are interconnected and they interact with one another towards one or more common objectives. Next. So I think I need not go into details of this. Okay. Any of the presentation will be shared with all of you. Next. Next. In fact, these activities are, we are already practicing it in some other domain. Okay. Next. So IoT based home security system. Okay. You just look at that, how your home is interlinked and with so many heterogeneous devices. Okay. And all these devices need to be connected, and they need to be programmed in such a way that there is some predefined protocols for their functioning, and the major objective is to ensure that the home is safe and secure. Okay, next. Yeah, these are some products that are available in the market. Next. 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 So you find several IoT devices. Next. These things are related to home security and safety. Okay. Next. So these are some of the references. So I would like to interact with the participant. Before taking their chats, I want to put one common thing. Name two differences between IoT and IoE. Name any two differences between. Somebody wants to say it over the mic also, you can say. In fact, we listed 3 or 4 differences. What's the need for IoE, why IoT has matured, and why people talk about the Internet of Everything. So, any two differences? Am I audible to participants? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
In fact, you will appreciate. Yeah. You can just look at the chat. Okay. Any two differences between IoT and IoE, or in other words, why we are shifting from IoT to IoE. Okay. One is that the number of smart devices per person goes on increasing, and it is estimated that the global population is about 7 billion, and it is found that more than 40 billion devices are there. Okay? So that's one reason that you need to shift towards IoE. Then yet another thing, that IoE supports the IPv6 thing, Internet Protocol version 6, okay, which has several billions of sites, which has a provision for several billion addresses. Okay? So these were some of the hindrances for IoT to progress further. So the community felt that we need to switch over to Internet of Everything. Main reason is that the number of devices, connected devices per person goes on increasing, and it is not just one person. The global thing, the population is about 7 billion, but the connected devices account for more than 40 billion devices are there, and you and I, in fact, many of us have smartphone. Then you have the storage devices. Then you have the so many other things are there. Okay, so that's one reason. Then the internet connectivity also needed. So you have IPv6. Okay, these are some major differences between IoT and IoE. And of course, these days more and more industries are moving towards IOE. In fact, they have a special consortium called Industry Internet Consortium. Their focus is on how best to exploit IOE to the betterment of industries. Okay. So, like that, which was not there in IoT, the industry's involvement is significant in IOE. So, in case you wish to interact with me, my email ID is available there. You are most welcome to interact with me on this topic as well as the related topic. So, to the extent possible, I will share my expertise on your with you on the questions you have in mind. And if no further questions or chats, I once again thank the organizers and most important, the young participants. And I am sure you are all very fortunate in the sense that at our time, when we were at your age, we did not have such kind of facility. So you are all a gifted lot. You have some overview, and you also have picked up some interest in this emerging topic. And I'm sure the RGNYD has facilitated this certificate course to the benefit of a large number of people. And I'm sure many of you will stand to gainfully benefit out of attending these sessions. And some are a kind of theoretical, or some are just giving you an overview on IoT. And the best part is that you have few sessions on hands-on experience. And today's briefing started with what to have towards the end of the 5-day thing, just encouraging you to consider designing, possibly developing products to the extent possible, because different participants have different expertise. So with whatever expertise you have gained in these 5 days time, okay, you will definitely have more insight into this emerging topic. In fact, I did not speak explicitly on automation because automation is already implied in many of these IoT related tasks. So if no further chats or questions, and of course I am seeing some chats saying that poor internet connection, I accept. Okay, so feel free to interact with me. Okay, yeah, there is one chat, IOE intelligence connection of people, which is next version of IoT. That's the response intelligence connection of people, which is next. There is nothing like a version of IoT. Actually, another chat says that IoE covers all things. Okay, so what are convergence and IPv6? Actually, this IPv6 is something to do with the protocols. Okay, something to do with the internet addresses, and the convergence, as we already mentioned, that has become the this decade's word. Okay, convergence meaning that bringing many things together. Okay, so users, developers, designers, governments, and so on and so forth, all will be brought together, and that's being facilitated by your IPv6. If no website is there, and you and I will not have an occasion to chat, isn't it? If no provision is there, okay? That's the role of IPv6. IPv6 provides a facility for interaction, provides facility for exchanging information, and so on and so forth.